Hi, this is Barry here, and you're very, very welcome to the very first podcast episode from WriteCome.com. And I really appreciate taking the time to join us today, and hopefully, you'll stay with us long term and we can travel on this journey together. So I thought rather than me kind of going into an episode of talking a little bit about me or the WriteCome blog or, all the information that I do over there, I just thought we would just jump straight in and we would just jump into a topic that affects a lot of people. So today's episode, I thought we'd have a look at how to pull out of a negative spiral. Now, for people like myself and probably yourself that are creating content and putting work out, at the early stages, we have a bit of confidence and we think we can write, we could be a blogger, or we could write fiction, or we could do this, or poetry, or whatever it is. We get a little bit of confidence in ourselves that we can go for it. And sometimes over time, this kind of confidence kind of ebbs away, and you may come to a point where you doubt whether you are good enough to be doing what you're doing. When you're creating maybe a couple of blog posts and nobody is commenting on your blog, especially when you're maybe in the very, very beginning, nobody really knows about it. But when you're creating content for a while, this kind of enthusiasm to start, it's the kind of fuel that you're running on, and it kind of ebbs away and you're slowly kind of grinding down to a halt. Again, too, like if you're doing fiction, maybe you're writing short stories for a while and you're putting up on maybe the Amazon Kindle store, and you're releasing it and possibly you're not making many sales, maybe you're not getting many book reviews, and that enthusiasm just grinds down. And for all of us, we start kind of maybe doubting ourselves. I know I did in the very, very beginning when I was doing stuff like that. I doubted whether I was good enough, and should I really be doing this, that I have the talent to do it? And you find when you actually ask yourself those kind of questions, your brain has the great capability and capacity to find a ton of answers to go with those questions. So you're going to get answers like, yeah, of course you're not good enough, you never studied writing, you've never had a blog before, look at all those people that are far better than you and they're going far, far longer than you, and who are you to just step in at the last minute and think you can do this and you can do that? And you have this kind of snowball that's just slowly building into self-doubt. And you'll find that if you imagine an aeroplane, all this kind of self-doubt just kind of send your career into a nosedive. You just kind of get lower and lower and lower until for some people they reach like this point where they just say, that's it, and I can't do it anymore, and they just walk away from it and they don't want to do it anymore. And it's very unfortunate, because sometimes if you stay around long enough, you can get maybe an email from somebody congratulating you on something you did. Sometimes maybe you can get a book review from somebody who thought that your book was amazing and really made a difference and they really, really enjoyed it. And maybe sometimes you might get, a pat in the back from somebody maybe you didn't know who was following your career, and all of a sudden, like that airplane that's taking the nosedive, that kind of makes you pull back on the stick, and then all of a sudden you're attacking it again, you're creating the content, you're back into your fiction writing, you're doing this and you're doing that, and you're all excited again. And then you kind of reach the top of that peak, and possibly you're going through the same thing over again. You go through this quiet period of low book sales and no book reviews or whatever, and you just kind of slowly tip over and you're starting to head into another nosedive. And again, you're relying on this kind of boost from somebody to make it come up again. And I used to go through that all the time. I was doing that kind of up and down, having confidence in myself to begin something, but then when it didn't seem to be getting anywhere or nobody seemed to be commenting on it, I just kind of, I went into this kind of downward spiral, and, unless somebody actually helped me out by giving me the positive, pat on the back or something like that, it just kind of went down and down. And, as I said, sometimes I just gave up and walked away because I didn't think I was good enough to be doing it. But I was just listening to a recent episode on the Mindset with Muscle podcast, and it's one by Jamie Alderton. And in it, Jamie was talking about, those moments in your life when you're doubting yourself and if you're actually making a difference to anybody by what you're doing. And what he does is, to give himself a little bit of a boost, is he takes snapshots of those positive book reviews. He takes a snapshot of those emails or writes down the comments that the people have made to him, and he takes screenshots of it, and he has a dedicated folder in his Dropbox account, and he sends all those snapshots over there, so they're all building up over time. And then he says then when he has this low moment, when he's questioning himself, when he thinks he's not good enough, he will go straight over the Dropbox, he'll open up that folder, and he will just read through all those messages and all those positive reviews or whatever it is that are there. And he said instantly, in a matter of a few minutes, he's fired up again, he's ready to go, and he's got people have told him that he's been inspiration to them and he's making a difference in their lives, and it fires him up, and he kind of attacks his dream then, or whatever he's doing, for another stage. And then if it ever happens again, he has all that positive stuff to come back on again. So that's what I recommend you should do today. I've been doing it recently. I've been collecting some of the emails that people have been sending me and some of the reviews, and I've already started a little bit of a folder going in Dropbox myself for those moments when I question myself, and if I'm doing the right thing, and if I have what it takes, maybe whatever doubts I have in my mind at the moment, that I can use those positive image or those positive those snapshots to give me the mental kind of kick in the butt that I need to fire me up. And then you'll find too as well, when you do this, there isn't the kind of long lag between this kind of long spiral of self-doubt to that moment when somebody kind of gives you a little pep talk and fires you up again, because you have all that already at hand. So it's only a matter of a few minutes before, so you're not actually losing out and kind of charging forward and easing back and charging forward and easing back, because you're just kind of firing yourself up on a more regular basis, and you will find that you'll stick with it longer, and until you reach like a snowball, when you do reach this kind of momentum, that you'll find that these messages will be coming in a far more regular basis as your audience gets bigger and you're affecting more people. And then after that, then it's easy street. But in the very beginning, when you're pushing on your own and nobody seems to know about you or care about you, it's that moment when you need this folder of all that content that you can call on. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I really enjoyed putting it together, and if you learned something from this, please share this episode, even one more person, so I can grow a bit of an audience here, and we can all work together to make this podcast one of the best ones that there is out there. So again, thank you for taking the time to listen today, and if you'd like to know more about me, you're very welcome to come over to the WriteCome blog, which you can find at WriteCome.com, and you can read some of the blog posts I have up there, and you can find out a little bit more about myself. So again, take care, have a great day, and thanks for sharing the time with me today. Take care. Bye-bye.